everyone, I'm Andrea Sullivan of Andrea Sweetcakes. Welcome to my channel. I've decided to create a new series just for YouTube called Andrea's Sweet Tips. The first video in my series will be on how to create whimsical and fun, funky flowers. If you want to see more videos from me, please click the subscribe button above and you'll definitely be seeing more videos. The first flower I'm going to demonstrate is this really cute bubble flower and bubbly leaf. These are the tools that you're going to need to use to make this flower. This is an umbrella tool. We have a Dresden tool, some flower forming cups, of course our water and paintbrush, and our fondant in white, yellow, and green. And we're going to start with our white fondant. Of course you can make this flower in any color you'd like, but I chose white. So we're going to create 5 balls in equal size. So I'm just guessing a size I want to work with. So we're going to create 5 of these balls. A great tip for equal size balls would be you could roll this out into a sheet and then use a tip cutter or a circle cutter. And every time you use one of those circles, it'll be the equal size. They're the same size. But I chose to go the hard way. Okay, one more. Okay. There's our 5 balls. They're all relatively equal in size. So to create the flower, we're going to put the balls in a circle, and then we're going to start to kind of push them all together. And my fondant is still quite tacky, and they're kind of like sticking to themselves. Now at this point, we're going to take, if you don't have an umbrella tool, you can certainly use a Dresden tool, but I find the umbrella tool because it makes 2 lines at one time. So I'm going to make sure that I line up these 2 lines right against the side of the ball, right in the very center, and I'm just going to push down. And it creates this cute little pleated effect. Let's do that again. Like that. Do this all the way around. I'm sure the flower looks fine without this effect, but I think it just adds just a little more detail. Now for the center, I'm just going to take some yellow fondant, roll a ball, and just pop it in the center. Just making sure that that's the proper size. I'm going to remove that, and with a little bit of water, just going to brush. You could use gum glue, piping jelly, whatever you prefer. And we're just going to drop that ball back in, kind of flatten it a little bit, making sure it's touching all 5 petals, adhering them all together. I can feel that it's kind of stuck. So I'm just using a palette knife. Going to grab that flower former, a little bit of cornstarch. Oops, I lost a petal. That's okay. Just slide it back in. As it dries, it'll all come together. There you have it. Cute little bubble flower. Now I'm going to show you how to create a leaf that matches the style of the flower. Using some green fondant, just grabbing a random size, making sure that it's like relative to the size of the flower. Start with a ball, and then with your, what's this, your middle finger, roll into a teardrop shape, fairly pointy at one end. Slightly flatten it between your fingers. With your Dresden tool, you could even use a veining tool, but I like the beveled edge of the Dresden tool. Just going to push a line down the very center, making sure that I leave some space at the top of the leaf, and then we're just going to pinch that closed. You could even try to open that little line back up, and we just want to taper this a bit so that it fits nicely under the flower. And there you have this cute little leaf that matches perfectly with this flower. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to create these flowers with a flower cutter, but just using some simple tools, it'll create some really cute effects. To create these flowers, you're going to need some pink gum paste, some green fondant or gum paste, I've got a miniature leaf cutter and a 5-petal flower cutter, my umbrella tool, my Dresden tool with miniature quilting wheel, and a small rolling pin and some flower forming sponges. First I'll show how to make the little flowers. Roll out the pink gum paste. Gonna keep it kind of thick so when we emboss the cute little detail, we don't just cut right through the center of the flower. And it kind of helps add those cute puffy lines. Okay, a little bit more. There we go. So we're just going to cut a couple little flowers out. They are pretty thick, like I said. You want them that thick so we can emboss the cute detail. I rub to make sure I get off those little scrap bits. Yeah, it should be good. Okay. Now, get your soft flower forming sponge. It must be soft. If it's too firm, you'll end up just poking right through the flower. Get your flowers, pop them on your soft sponge. I usually do like 10 or 12 of these at a time. With the large side of the umbrella tool, I'm actually going to try to line each line up with the center of the petal so that you have the line going up the very center. So just like that, push down. And there you have those cute little embossed lines. Just make the flower look so puffy and so cute. Just want to eat it up. Let's try one where you don't line those lines up and see how it looks. Right there. Still cute. There we go. Adorable. Now we need a matching leaf to go with this adorable little flower. So I'm going to show you how to create this really cute quilted leaf. So with our fondant, we're just going to roll it out. A little bit of cornstarch there. Again, you're going to want to keep this pretty thick just so when we emboss our detail, we don't end up just cutting right through. Okay. Get our leaves, pop them on the, this is a firmer flower forming sponge. So you can go very traditional using a veining tool or the Dresden tool. I like to start at the tip of the leaf and draw down to the bottom center, pushing, and you create this cute little well in the center. And then you can kind of pinch the base. Kind of almost looks like the other one we made for the bubble flower. But if you want to go super cute, you can use your mini quilting wheel here. And following the same line, and you make this really cute quilted leaf. Look at how adorable. You can make like those bubble flowers with like, say, a little button center or something. That would be so adorable. You could pinch the ends as well, just to give it a little more movement, a little more life. So let's do that again. Try going up towards the tip. Pew. That's nice. And one more with the Dresden tool. Pew. There we go. Super cute. And there you have it. Adorable leaves to go with your adorable flowers. Adorable. adorable. People call me adorkable. I don't agree. These can be placed on your cake still wet. That way, if you need to mold them around something, they all come together nice and snug. But if you allow them to dry, get nice and hard, then you're gonna find that they're not gonna wanna mesh very nicely if they're all hard. A part of being a cake decorator is not just being creative with your cakes, but being creative with your tools. Now, using this little funky flower cutter, I'm gonna show you how to repurpose this into a funky bush cutter. Let me show you how. To create these funky little bushes, we're gonna need some fondant, gum paste, fondant, Tylose mix, whatever you prefer. This funky flower cutter, a large palette knife, small rolling pin, and some saran wrap. So we'll begin by rolling out our fondant. You want to roll it out thick, so that way it'll stand up when you cut it. But I'm going to show you an awesome little trick on how to make your bushes nice and rounded. So taking this saran wrap, did I say saran wrap? Lay it over your fondant or gum paste, and then using the funky flower cutter, we're going to cut down. And by using the saran wrap, you can see here, oh look, it tore actually, that it's rounded the edges as we made our cut. It added that resistance, I suppose. So take away the excess. Use your fingertips just to rub under that rough edge. And now I like that shape as a funky bush. So just using my palette knife, just make one nice straight cut down. And there we have a really cute bush. Well, let me turn that around. There you go. There you go. So cute. I'll even show you how you can get two bushes out of one cut. So let me quickly, whoops. I'll demonstrate that again. And push down. There we go. Give it a little wiggle. You're gonna find that it's gonna be really hard to get a really clean cut because the saran wrap is just kind of getting in the way. You're never gonna get that really clean cut. Just give it a little wiggle. And there you go. Look how cute and rounded that is. Just remove the excess. And depending where you make your cut, you can get two bushes. So if I made a cut here, I'd have this bush here, and I'd have this little bush here. Or the same if I went this way, or then you can make one cut and get one big bush. But I'm going to show how to make two. So right here, I'm just going to go straight down, separating it in half. And there, you have two little bush shapes. Whoops, it's not wanting to stand. And this one. You could even get creative and make these in two different shades of green, and then you could start to layer them, adding depth to the bushes. That's really cute right there. You just glue them together and boom, they'll stand right up. Look how adorable. I keep saying adorable. Let me just bring in a flower and I'll show you. Look, it's all about creating a scene. Look, oh, so cute. Look at how adorable. Oh, I said it again. There you go. Look at it. Very sweet. There you go. See? Perfect. I get a lot of requests on how to create my ribbon roses and ribbon leaves. I spent many hours perfecting my ribbon roses. I remember the first time I created one, all I did was literally spiral it up and I'm like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, I made a ribbon rose. But over the years, I've improved, and definitely it's more than just a spiraled up fondant. So let me share my hours and hours of agony with you so that you can master this in just moments. To create my ribbon rose, you will require a stiff brand of fondant or gum paste, a rolling pin, a pastry wheel or palette knife will do, some water, gum glue, and a flower forming cup. To make a ribbon rose, we're going to start by rolling out a long strip as thin as we can get it. I'm trying not to use any cornstarch or icing sugar just because I find it tends to dry out my fondant even further, and then it can cause cracks. So I'm trying to do this without any cornstarch. Definitely want it thin though. If you had a pasta roller, piece of cake. But I could never like get into those. I tried them, but I guess I just didn't have the patience to figure it out. So we're going to create a straight edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can use a ruler if you choose, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to flip this over. Put some water. I'm going to run it along the cut edge. And we're going to fold this over. And we're creating a lip. We want this pocket of air to stay there, so we're just going to secure it down, making sure you don't press it flat. It's important you keep this little bubble line. Now trim it off. So we're going to, you can add some water. I usually work fast enough that the fondant tends to stick to itself. So we're going to make a triangle, our first fold, and then we're going to start to spiral this up. So right about there, it's like 1.5 turns in, I'm going to use my, my pointer finger, and I'm going to push up, and with my thumb I'm going to push down, and then my middle finger push back up again, creating this pleat. Make a small twist, and repeat that process. So push up with your pointer, back with your thumb, and then with your middle finger pushing forward. You kind of almost want to angle up so that you can make it start to flute out. And we just tuck that end under. At this point, I'll start to push it all together, kind of give it a little spin. And then at this point, just cut off the excess. There we have a little ribbon rose. I'm going to use the flower forming cup. I'm just going to place it inside. I'd allow this to dry, otherwise you'll find that it'll just want to flop open. So these are definitely good to make at least a day in advance, if not a few hours. There's a ribbon rose. We're going to create a ribbon leaf to match our ribbon rose. These are the tools and materials that you're going to need to create one. You'll require fondant, small rolling pin, pastry wheel, and some water. Let's roll our fondant out. This you want to get nice and thin, only because you'll see it's layers upon layers of folds. And if we're using thick fondant, then you'll notice that the leaf will tend to pick up a lot of bulk and it just won't look like fabric any longer. So we're going to get this really thin. First, we're going to start with a straight cut. And now 2 cuts on either side. And we're going to flip this over. Oh, I got a little bit of purple. So we're going to take the first corner and fold it into the halfway mark. Make sure, just like the ribbon rose, we want to leave this little bubble. Grab the opposite corner, fold that over until this straight edge is nearly meeting the bubble edge. You may want to add a little dab of water here, just to help. Actually, and now we're going to make another fold. So we went this way, we went to the left, and now we're going to grab the left and we're going to bring it into the center with a little bit of water, just like that, and grab the opposite side, a little bit of water, and fold that over. Now you're going to tuck that under and kind of start to roll, bringing all the bulk to the underside, just like that. And then we'll just trim off the excess. You can even pinch that further. I'm going to show one more time though, because if you follow the same folds every time, all your leaves will always be pointing in the same direction. So you want to definitely make the folds from the opposite sides, and then you'll get a leaf pointing in the opposite direction. And I will demonstrate that. So we're going to roll our fondant out nice and thin. And the great thing about this technique is you can make leaves of various sizes. It all depends on the size of the square you use to start your leaf with. So I could show you. So we'll cut a straight line across and come down on either side. Flip it over. So the first time I started with this left corner, my left, we're going to start with the right corner. Bring that in so it meets halfway. Bring this so that the cut edge nearly comes to the bubble edge, and making sure this little loop is nice and tight as well, almost like kind of turning up. My fondant's quite tacky, so I don't need to put any water. So now we come in with this side, and we come in with this side. And we tuck that under, and then we just start to roll. Trim off the excess. And here you'll see how they're going in two different directions. So now when you get your ribbon rose, you got a leaf that's a pointing this away and a leaf pointing this away. Super cute. There you have it. My ribbon rose and ribbon leaf. This concludes the first segment of my new series, Andrea's Sweet Tips. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please click the subscribe button and stay tuned for more weekly videos.